TV, Indiana's only statewide TV news network. This is Breaking News.
Breaking tonight, severe storm damage across the state, and you can see why. This video from earlier tonight shows a potential tornado around Linton, Indiana, and you can see the aftermath here. These photos sent to us by a viewer, horizontal aerial imaging. You can just see homes shattered.
And you can see also here by this drone video sent to us by a Wish TV viewer, video of damage in Bloomington just moments after a possible tornado might have touched down there. News 8's Garrett Bergquist, he is in Lawrence, and Danielle Zukoski, she's out in Brown County for us tonight. We've also got Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis. He's been tracking the storms all night long. But first, let's go to Garrett. Garrett, what damages are you seeing right here in Marion County?
So here in Marion County, we managed to dodge some of the worst of it. It was mostly just rain and some winds, but even those winds can still pack a punch. The home behind me here in Lawrence is split in half by a tree. It's a little dark right now, so let's show you some video that we got earlier when it was still a little light out. Lawrence firefighters say that the call came in about 7:39 this evening. As luck would have it, this home is just about 30 yards down the road from a Lawrence fire station. So firefighters are able to get over here very, very quickly. City officials tell us that 8 people live in that house. 5 of them were home at the time that tree came down and just split the home in half. They said that they did treat one person at the scene for minor injuries. They did not need to go to the hospital. That family is now without a place to stay tonight. The Red Cross is in the process of getting them connected with a place to go. A little while ago, we did see the Red Cross out here. We also saw a disaster recovery firm out here doing some preliminary work. So fortunately, it looks like that family will get some more help. That is the only damage that officials here in Lawrence reported. There are some scattered reports of power lines down and other issues throughout Marion County. But even when we were out driving around, the rain at times was coming down hard enough that it really cut down our visibility. But at least here in Marion County, we were able to avoid the worst of the storm's fury. In Lawrence, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
The work week hasn't wrapped up quite yet for first responders. Thanks, Garrett. One of the hardest hit areas is Brown County, where we find News 8's Danielle Zukoski live tonight. What are you seeing, Danielle?
We're here in Nashville, Indiana on State Road 136, where there is damage behind me. You can see this large tree is completely blocking the road on both sides, making it impassable, and it took down power lines on both sides of the road. This is preventing people from going south and, of course, people in the south from going north. Now, neighbors tell me if you were to get around this one, there are additional trees past this blocking the road. One neighbor brought out his gator and the lights to keep people back and in safe conditions, considering there are power lines down in this area. He also says that people were turning around in the yard beside us and messing up the grass because they were coming too close to the tree and had no other way to turn around. We spoke to one man who came down here in his truck, and he says he's unable to get home now because of this tree blocking the road. He was riding out the storm up in the Indy Metro area, was up by the airport, and decided to drive straight through it in his truck with his kids down here to Nashville, where he lives. They're all fine, and they're returning back north, where they have another location to stay the night in Brownsburg.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an inconvenience. When we came from Brownsburg, my kids go to school up there. When we came from there, we got into the storm from 465 by the airport, and we just rode through the whole storm all the way up to here.
And that's not the only person we heard from who's unable to get home down to the Stonehead and Story regions of Brown County. There are multiple people out for the night, unable to get home, and some without additional accommodations. Now, we have heard reports of other damages further south. We are working to confirm those for you, and we'll bring you any updates we have right here on Wish TV. I'm Danielle Zukoski for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Danielle, thank you so much. Well, not too far away from Nashville, Bloomington. Here's the video actually sent to us by a Wish TV viewer. Take a look. We've received reports of damage to an actual post office near where this video was captured.
And check this out. Hail Columbus, Indiana. And we've been getting videos of all sorts of hail, all sorts of different sizes across that area. This is just a peek of it, but look at some of the damage that it caused. Even just a little bit, cracking that windshield. Take a listen.
I was kind of scared for a second because the tornado sirens went off like 3 or 4 different times. And normally last time they went off, there was actually tornadoes that touched down. And it was like in the country though. But I was kind of scared, but it wasn't too bad this time.
Yeah.
It was just really dark and getting light. I couldn't barely see the road either. That's when it started hailing, is when I couldn't see the road. And that's when it started getting really bad.
Other areas around south of Indianapolis, we've heard of reports of golf ball size, maybe even softball sized hail. And
it wasn't just the hail, Tim. We want to show you a couple of photos from near Monroe out in Morgan County. Here you can see some wind damage here. Drew Narsutis was tracking it all evening and talking about possible gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour.
All right, and let's bring in Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis. You and the Storm Track 8 team were going wall to wall from 7 o'clock up until just about less than a half hour ago.
Yeah, and it was all really just one of these storms was the main contributor to the truly severe life-threatening weather, but there certainly were widespread reports of issues all over. There's our little system that was moving through. You can see everybody was hit. However, it was that one cell that started out near Linton and continued to track through Bloomington, Nashville, and eventually, and almost like a prayer, just barely lifted, and the possible tornado with this did not move into Columbus. As of right now, we are not getting reports of that, but anywhere along this stretch, there's going to be damage, whether it's hail, wind, or something in between. There are going to be reports that we are going to have to sift through tomorrow along this stretch. This is not only where, of course, the tornado reports were, but the largest of the hail was down towards the south, including a couple of near 2-inch size hailstones out near Bloomington, Ellettsville, and then, of course, the Mac Daddy of them all, the 4-inch hailstone fallen just southeast of Sullivan. That's softball sized. That's definitely enough to kill you. So deadly, not just potentially tornadoes this evening, but even hail down in the south. And of course, there were still hail reports and wind reports plenty around the Indianapolis area. So some of those wind reports in our neighborhoods got as much as 75 at the Indianapolis airport, 83 out near Frankton, Indiana. Of course, multiple trees down out near Fishers, northeast of Greenfield, out in Cicero, some large trees down as well. And of course, hail wasn't uncommon in our region either. The good news is it was a little bit closer to 1-inch hail at worst in places like Greenwood, Brownsburg, Carmel. So we got our fill of severe weather, but the truly severe weather was down towards the south. At least as we move into tonight, things are doing pretty all right here now that the storms have pushed on through in Carmel and the rest of our region. We'll talk more coming up.
All right, Drew, thank you. Well, lots of folks in the dark tonight. Here's a look at the current power outage numbers. Duke, they're reporting over 26,000 people without power. AES reporting over 13,000. Indiana, Michigan is reporting over 24,000. Now, according to poweroutage.us, more than 110,000 customers are in the dark tonight.
Storm Track 8 weather coverage continues online with photos from across the area that viewers are sending in all night. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen now. That will take you to our photo galleries page on wishtv.com, where you can see some of the images pouring in tonight.